to bring this back here. The production facility is totally crippled for StrifeCro. Only that infestation pit left as the lair is just about to fall. And here we do see StrifeCro moving into the most recent base of Drewbie. Quite a few missile turrets are down here, and we do see a couple of bunkers as well, and this is going to be very rough for StrifeCro to push into. Looking at the army values, though, Drewbie is actually slightly behind, and without that siege tech, he is certainly at a bit of a disadvantage, so there is certainly hope for StrifeCro to bring this back. We'll see how much damage he can do here. He's going to go ahead and drop that first bunker. The second bunker does go down, and the third drops before the repairing can really begin, but there are so many missile turrets here doing a ton of damage to these mutas. Looking at this army value, it is now even, and Drewbie is actually pulling ahead. StrifeCro didn't need to sacrifice that many mutas. He could have just allowed his ground forces to kill these missile turrets, but oh no! StrifeCro with only 6 mutas left, crippling his own muta count. Certainly not the best control right there, and that decision could end up costing him the game, as he doesn't have that huge army value lead that he had just a few moments ago.
That's right, StrifeCro probably should have just backed out there and surrounded the army from Drewbie. I think he might have been able to take out that army pretty easily with that amount of Zerglings. Just could have picked off the Marines, and if he had done that, the Mutalisks would have had free reign over everything. But StrifeCro is continuing to take out those buildings. There are 5 mutas out right now. They are attacking the orbital command, and I'm not sure Drewbie's going to be able to get over there before that orbital command goes down. You see StrifeCro is just continuing with this base race, but so many of the buildings floating around there. 3 more mutas are just chilling there for StrifeCro, not doing anything. Drewbie trying his best to save this orbital command. 2 hatcheries are out right now, but only 4 drones out.
Yes, indeed. End up being a weird situation here, as both players are kind of just stuck right now. The mutas are going to allow StrifeCro to fly around and pick off some of these stray buildings and get all of that valuable scouting intel. And Drewbie's immobile army is going to make it a bit rough. This orbital command is still alive and floating around, and he is doing a good job keeping all of his units together. But I'm not really sure who's going to come out on top here, Janitor. This could actually end up being a draw.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. The army value clearly in advantage of Drewbie here. Drewbie, not sure he wants to push in. If he had siege tech, he would feel a lot more comfortable here, but StrifeCro is now just moving around the map, preventing Drewbie from landing anywhere. StrifeCro does have a bit of an advantage in that he has 2 bases up. Drewbie knows this, and it looks like he wants to start pushing out here. As you see, he's stemming up his units, trying to find out exactly where StrifeCro is so he doesn't get a good surround here, but this is going to be an interesting engage as Drewbie has the army value advantage, but the longer he waits, the worse it gets for him.
Certainly right. StrifeCro does have 8 harvesters now, and he is mining. He does have some larvae, so there is potential to maybe rebuild a little bit. And oh no, StrifeCro getting caught out of position here. The roaches without speed are just going to fall. StrifeCro's sacrificing those valuable units. There's another stim from Drewbie, and he's going to be able to finish off these roaches without too much trouble. Only 4 left, 1 more about to fall, and there it is. StrifeCro should have just turned around and fought with these roaches to try and at least do a little bit of damage. Instead, he just sacrificed them and handed them over to Drewbie. Here you go. Have a couple of free roach kills, buddy. And now it is looking very grim for StrifeCro despite his income advantage. As we see, that army value difference is absolutely huge, and that supply difference is pretty large as well. So now it's looking very good for Drewbie. He's going to plant down a few of these structures here and drop down a couple of mules for this repairing action. He will repair up these buildings and feel a little bit more safe as he ventures around. StrifeCro dropping another hatchery down in the bottom right. Drewbie has scouted the 2 hatcheries, or one of the hatcheries up here, excuse me, and will be able to put some serious pressure on it. If he takes out that hatchery, I think that may be GG for StrifeCro, as that pretty much is his last chance to stay in this game.
Yeah, interestingly, Drewbie knows exactly where his opponent is, but instead of, it looks like he just wants to chill with these buildings and make sure they don't get taken out by those mutas, and now he's just going to start pushing up here and quickly take this down. StrifeCro does not have enough to defend it anymore, but it's going to be tough here as Drewbie, you see, is stemming up here, trying to scout as much as he can. StrifeCro doesn't even have a spawning pool down, just those 2 extra hatcheries, and this is going to be rough to watch.
Yeah, and I do like what Drewbie's doing, though, playing it very safe, as you mentioned, just moving that one Marine up first to make sure he doesn't run into a trap, to make sure he doesn't run into 15 spine crawlers, as he realizes he needs this huge army value advantage he has to come out on top in this game. Looks like StrifeCro is going to lose all of these workers here, and that is going to pretty much seal the deal. There are a couple of mutas left for StrifeCro, but that's about it. Certainly not enough to deal with these Marines and Medivacs mixed together, and it is definitely looking pretty grim here, Janitor. If StrifeCro doesn't GG out before too long or do something completely unexpected, I think he's going to have to throw in the towel.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the APMs, interestingly, StrifeCro still has around 200 APM, even though he's not doing too much with it. Has a couple of drones there, not minded at all. And I think he's just dragging the game out at this point, but Drewbie feels very, very confident. You see the high energy on those medevacs. They're just going to be able to move around and take out so many of those workers, and there's absolutely nothing StrifeCro can do about it at this point.
Yeah, certainly right. And we do see some lings for StrifeCro still alive as well. It looks like these mutas are going to fly in and try and do a bit of harassment, but not much he can do. Once again, just really kind of stuck here.
Yeah, it looks like StrifeCro really wants to take out those buildings from Drewbie. And Drewbie, low on those minerals. You do need minerals to repair. Not sure if everyone knows that, but there is a nice little barracks floating over there. And if he can take down this orbital command, he'll actually see where his opponent's buildings are, as that barracks is now burning. It's going to go down as well. Drewbie's going to have to land again, probably start repairing that barracks. And this is actually an interesting play from StrifeCro. StrifeCro does have a chance to win here, and you can't count him out of it yet. Once Drewbie runs out of those minerals, he's going to land right here, call those mules down, and start repairing the barracks. And once he runs out of those minerals, it's going to be nearly impossible. StrifeCro getting a free Marine kill there, and this could actually be StrifeCro's win.
Yeah, and this is turning into a bit of a scrappy game. As you mentioned, once Drewbie runs out of those valuable minerals, which he is running dangerously low on, it's going to be very, very rough. But don't forget, he will be able to drop down this orbital command and start mining with those mules at some point if he feels safe enough to do so. Keep in mind what StrifeCro is doing here does still have pretty decent creep spread, a few creep tumors down, and these overlords dropping as much creep as possible to prevent those that orbital command from dropping down and mining. A great play from StrifeCro. Moving these mutas around, doing a good job as well, trying to look for any hole possible, anywhere that he can exploit his opponent. He's going to cancel that hatchery. I'd love to see him drop down a spawning pool here and try and tech up in one of these hatcheries that's way down in the corner. Drewbie still hasn't scouted either of those yet, has no idea where they are, and actually has no clue what StrifeCro is doing. He is going to go ahead and drop down that spawning pool right now, so he may be able to start producing some lings pretty soon here, and could potentially start producing units again. The Marine count from Drewbie is slowly dwindling, as you mentioned, a couple of stray singleton Marine kills down to 13, and if he runs out of valuable Marines, those mutas will certainly seal the deal for StrifeCro, but it will take quite some time for that to be the case.
There's some really interesting things going on in this game. Drewbie is trying his best to scout, but he really can't afford to lose units right now. You can see he only has one barracks and one orbital command floating around. Sending out a singleton Marine like this to do scouting, while good, is very, very dangerous. If Zerglings catch that off, the more Marines he loses, the worse those mutas get. He only has 13 Marines out right now, and if that muta count if he loses quite a few more Marines, then that muta is just going to be able to win him the game very, very easily. So StrifeCro is preventing Drewbie from scouting just by having units out on the board that can take out singleton Marines. And you can see Drewbie has to scout with all of his units, because if his Marines get too far away, those mutas come in and start harassing the orbital command and barracks. You can see Drewbie a little bit out of position here. StrifeCro just going to take a few shots at those units and then quickly back up. Drewbie is going to end up scouting this. The spawning pool is down here. We'll see if StrifeCro ends up doing anything with this. The second base from StrifeCro is up. The fourth and, two more bases are up. This is an excellent plan by StrifeCro, who actually can win this game still. Yes, a lot of his drones are going to go down here. He has 30 drones, though. You can see the minerals getting very, very high, and he's just going to war of attrition this out.
Yes, certainly right. Unfortunately, Drewbie did pick the base where the spawning pool is at, so that will set back StrifeCro a bit. Hopefully he can get up just sort of like a proxy lair somewhere to tech up, and it is a bit of a shame that these drones will go down. I would have liked to see StrifeCro drop some spine crawlers there to try and protect his spawning pool if he could have dropped maybe 5 or 6 spines that could have scared away Drewbie perhaps, or at least done a little bit of that damage, since he has such an advantage as far as having income where Drewbie has none. I think some spine crawlers would certainly be in order, Janitor. Maybe StrifeCro doesn't quite realize that siege mode is not completed. Don't forget that was just about done when he denied it, and it's hard to say whether he recognized that he denied the siege tank tech, and could certainly be worried about that, although it is not a threat in this particular game.
That's right, just so many hatcheries here. I'm not sure that StrifeCro will actually lose this game. Drewbie, you can see there, not quite so happy as he's giving that that plain face. The mutas are coming around here. It looks like Drewbie does want to land here, perhaps start mining. He's going to call down about 2 or 3 mules to start that off, and Drewbie is going to come back here to try and defend this. And oh no, he might get a free medevac kill here. Oh, just barely running away here. 3 mules start that mining. That is quite a bit of minerals that Drewbie's going to be able to use. And this is going to be a long game, but StrifeCro is going to be able to end up taking this one, in my opinion. He does have those 5 mutas out. He's teching up to lair now. He does have the Baneling Nest on the way. And he's just got so many bases here. He's going to continue mining. And it's going to be very, very hard for Drewbie to come back here. 5 mules are shooting that barracks as much as possible. Those 3 mules gathering quite a bit of resources, and Drewbie just continuing his slow march across the map into Doom. As you see, that 1 barracks is scouting. A great job there by Drewbie. He now knows that expansion is up, but StrifeCro is just going to continue taking bases.
Yeah, and even though those mules are doing a good job keeping Drewbie in this game, with only 1 orbital command, it is not going to be sustainable. We do see 41 harvesters for StrifeCro, so his economy has turned around. He does have that lair up, as you mentioned, and the Spire is on the way. I love the choice to drop the Spire somewhere different. I'm not sure where he dropped it yet. I'm still in the process of finding it, and there it is over at around the 9 o'clock position. We do see the Spire coming down, and we will see some more mutas come into this game. We do see StrifeCro sacrificing a couple of those lings, but at this point he can afford to sacrifice some of those units. He does have that luxury, unlike Drewbie, who is unable to mine at the moment, and really backed up against a wall.
Exactly right, and he has 42 drones now. He is mining like a champ and trying to get as much as he can. Like you said, the Spire is on the way and in a different location from where the lair is. StrifeCro is just doing so much damage here. Drewbie looks like he's moving in. He does know that this base is here, and if I was StrifeCro, I would have just pulled those drones, but it looks like he's just going to sacrifice them nice and happily as Burrow is on the way. That is a good choice as well. Drewbie is going to be forced to GG here at some point. I don't see any way that he can win this.
Yeah, I certainly agree, and I think Burrow is a very, very smart choice. He's either going to be able to really abuse the lack of detection from Drewbie, or he's going to force him to waste that valuable orbital command energy on scans instead of mules. That is a very crafty choice from StrifeCro, and very smart indeed. Once again, a lot of these drones are going to fall. We see these tanks have taken quite a bit of damage, so they will fall somewhat easily once these mutas move in. We do see 7 mutas queued up for StrifeCro, and that will certainly spell doom for Drewbie. And as you mentioned, StrifeCro's win will be right here, and a great play from StrifeCro to make a second Spire, preemptively thinking that Drewbie may harass this base. We'll have a second Spire up in plenty of time to continue.
That's right, but will this Burrow finish? It's just about finished. Oh my goodness, yes, it is going to finish. StrifeCro is going to get that down, but it does not matter. 12 mutas are on the board, and 12 mutas versus 12 Marines who are now dying to broodlings is not going to be happy time for Drewbie, as he is going to see this flock of mutas and GG momentarily. So StrifeCro playing this game out, scrapping it into his victory, and great job by StrifeCro as Drewbie continues to move around with these Marine siege tanks. Just too many mutas on the board. Not sure if StrifeCro knows it, but he wants to be ultra safe, producing 4 more mutas. And there it is, the GG finally from Drewbie. StrifeCro winning it and going 2-1.